What's up, y'all? Welcome to Three Brothers and a Shot of Milk. I'm Jack Walker Pearson. We got Lawrence St. Victor, Christopher St. Victor, and Richard Wilson. Like and smash that like button if you would, please. Thank you. If not, that's okay too. But I guess
No, it's not okay. Don't give him an out.
It might be. Hey, don't leave though. Just let the thing run for 10 minutes and then come back and turn it off. We'll take the view. We're desperate for views. All right, anyways, here we go. Today we're talking about Marvel's Secret Invasion, the new series on Disney Plus. Here is the spoiler-free IMDb or Google synopsis. Nick Fury, an older Nick Fury, not wearing an eye patch Nick Fury, fully bearded Nick Fury. Can you believe it says all this? Nick Fury learns of a secret invasion of Earth by a faction of shape-shifting Skrulls. Fury joins his allies, and together they race against time. That sentence is used in every synopsis, overused. They race against time to thwart an impending Skrull invasion and save humanity. Dun dun dun. Also, we're only talking about episode 1.
One.
So let's go for spoiler-free thoughts. I'll go first. Hey, it's another Marvel series. Cool.
I just keep waiting for it to. It was a confusing, and you just keep waiting for it to get good, and it hasn't gotten good yet. I don't know if that's a spoiler, but that's kind of
well, it's only episode 1.
Yeah, but you figured.
How long were you waiting?
Yeah,
55 minutes.
yeah. You expect Secret Invasion's a huge story arc in the Marvel universe, right?
Oh, it's massive.
Right. So they build this as like this espionage and like take over the world, like alien. It was billed as this huge event, and it's like, I don't know.
Well, it's still episode 1.
I guess, but episode 1 should at least set me up to be like engaged in what's going on.
Okay, and Rich, your spoiler-free thoughts?
I mean, it was a show.
Hey, he's not wrong about that. Lawrence?
I'm gonna be a little long-winded here. I apologize. I think this is where being a geek punches you in the face. It is better to not be aware of the comics. It's better to not be aware of it and just come in. Because when you're geeky, our expectations are too high. First thing I'm gonna say is this, and none of this is a spoiler. I don't care about Nick Fury. He is one of the least interesting characters in the MCU. We virtually know nothing about him. All we know is that he brings people together to fight other guys. He barely gets in the fight himself. Now, I'm not talking about if you know the comics. Just strictly from what you've seen in the MCU, Captain Marvel's the most time he spent with Nick Fury.
He's a manager.
Right. And now we're doing a whole show about the manager. And I'm like, the only reason I care about you is because I care about Sam Jackson. Sam Jackson is dope. Sam Jackson is cool.
Yeah.
I know nothing about Nick Fury enough to want a whole show about him.
That opening shot. Oh, no, spoiler.
Right. Spoiler. But the actual character of Nick Fury, I don't care what he's doing or why he's even here. And I'm waiting for him to call someone else more interesting to join the fight. Sam Jackson.
And why doesn't he? Isn't that his role as a manager?
Spoiler free. My point is that Sam Jackson is so cool and interesting. He makes you forget that Nick Fury is not a fleshed out character in the MCU. And I'm watching a show that needs a fleshed out character, needs a history, and needs moments that we can recall that lead up to this, and they just don't exist. Everything, spoiler alert, happens off camera that gets us here.
All right, well, let's jump into the spoiler zone. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to spoil this thing, so if you don't want it spoiled, mute it and just let us play in the background.
Yes!
Hey, that works.
Just look at our faces.
All right, so here we go. This is probably going to be a crude recap. Brothers, please jump in and save this as we go. So,
he'll save
this. Dun, 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 dun. The show starts and we get the show starts and we get this awesome, very different title sequence for Marvel.
Man, we're trying to fight AI, and they're gonna go ahead and use AI.
But you know what? They just proved it that AI can make. They can definitely make images, and I guess they can make movies too.
They can make everything.
AI
Skynet's gonna become self-aware soon.
Oh yeah, we're doomed.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go back in time to 1997 and watch the world burn. All right, so the movie starts, and what happens is, well, it starts with we're in Russia, and the guy Ross, played by the guy from
he was in
Wakanda
Wakanda
He was
Forever.
also just in has he only been in the Black Panther movies?
No, man,
He's
this
a
guy was.
No, he
colonizer.
was in Lord of the Rings, right?
Yes,
No, but I
he's
mean in the MCU. What
Oh.
is that, Chris?
Sorry, my other computer.
I know it's got to be.
All right. So this guy, forget his name, great actor. He's in the Hobbit series, and the first time he really popped up on my radar was in the Sherlock series.
I meant like, has his character shown up in any other MCU stuff outside of Black Panther and Wakanda?
Yeah, he's been in a few of the other TV series, and so we see him go to a secret. He gets a distress call. He goes, "I'll be there in 5 minutes." He goes to this safe house in Russia, and there's an American there, and they're talking in English. And he goes, "Hey, man."
Can I say real quick, that American dude is
what a voice.
Beast of it. First of all, his voice, and he's an amazing actor. He set up the stakes in 2 seconds.
Oh my God. You know, his voice was so good. This is a big sub tangent. Sorry, I apologize. So I'm playing Final Fantasy 16, and the voice acting in it, I know it is. The voice acting in it is so good. It's crazy. Everyone has these incredible voices in it. Anyways, back to this guy in the content has an incredible voice. And then
it also makes you feel like it's his story. The way he's so commanding. I'm like,
it starts with the narrating. You're
Yeah.
like, who's this narrator? And then you find out he's like this B character who, spoiler alert, gets killed in the first scene and has no plot at all. But what a cameo. You know, this actor's putting this all over his reel and resume. He's like,
he killed it. Like he set up the whole issue in 2 seconds.
He killed it, and then they killed him. So then Ross, who killed him, is running away, but he's being chased by another guy. Turns out Ross is actually a Skrull, and so I'm going, wait, has he been a Skrull the whole time and a secret? Or is this a Skrull pretending to be Ross, and Ross is going to come back?
His character is so not important. I didn't even... If I thought you were a Skrull this whole time doing... What have you been doing?
Yeah, and why have you been doing it? Right. Anyways, it's kind of like Martian Manhunter pretending to be Martha Kent for no apparent
Not
reason.
even, because Martha Kent still mattered more.
Right.
Like, well, this character doesn't... It'd be like if Martian Manhunter was Jimmy Olsen.
That depends on if Jimmy Olsen's being played by Leo or not. If Leo's playing Jimmy, then suddenly it's got a little more stakes. Anyways, long story short, this guy turns out to be a Skrull, and they kill him. And my question was, is this the actual actor who we've been watching in the Wakanda series, and they just kind of threw away his death really quickly? Or is this a Skrull pretending to be the Ross character, and Ross is still alive? I don't know the answer.
No,
to
we
that.
found out later. This was the replacement for Ross. Maria Hill said this is Ross's replacement. So it kind of implies that Ross is still around. Ross is alive, and he hasn't been a Skrull this whole time. This guy jumped in, taking the Skrulls.
Do you guys care? Does his character matter enough for you?
And I didn't understand.
He only appeared in Wakanda in Black Panther. That's it. He hasn't appeared in.
Well, and I didn't understand that enough to care. And also, what it does is it makes me go back to no deaths matter, which we'll get to by the end of. Let's just jump to the end. Well, no, we'll get to the end of that death. Also, probably not mattering. So, anyways, then we cut to. The reveal, the Skrull who was in the Captain Marvel movie reveals himself to
Talos.
Agent Hill, and she goes, "Hey, Talos, how you say the guy's name?
Talos or something.
Talos. Hey, Talos, it's you."
Or if you're Samuel Jackson, it's Talos.
Yeah, Talos.
Hey, Talos.
Talos, man.
What's going on there, Talos?
Sit your ass
I'm
down,
telling
Talos.
you, it's Talos.
Anyway,
All right,
so
whatever,
Tay
Talos.
shows up, and he says, "Hey, what's up?" And she says, "You're back." And he says,
Can we pause right here? This is the issue with the MCU. It was fine when it was just movies. It asked a lot. To ask you to watch everything, to understand everything, that's a lot to ask your audience members. And anyone jumping into this series, I can't even remember which post-credit sequence told me that Sam Jackson was in space. Like you have to like have watched all the post credits to even know where he's
I
been.
think they've been mentioning it for a while that he's off Earth, but it's only been in passing. It's never been a major plot point. It's like,
But
oh, where's Rick
we
Flag?
got
Oh, he's
one
off
post
Earth.
credit. Was it Wakanda? It was one of them.
No, hold up.
No,
He left. I'm sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought at the end of the Captain Marvel series, he left for Earth. He left Earth to help the Skrulls find a home, which kind of implied that the Sam Jackson we'd seen on Earth in all the other movies was actually the Skrull who'd been pretending to be Nick Fury.
since the 1990s, no,
80s.
no.
No, was it 90s?
We got
Captain
a
Marvel?
post credit sequence showing him in space, which showed me like it's more recent than
Yes, but that post-credit scene, wasn't it in the Captain Marvel movie?
that. No, it was a different movie.
It said it
'Cause
revealed that Fury left Earth shortly after events of Endgame.
Endgame. Well,
Because he
okay.
got blipped away. So, but what all I'm saying is this show is asking you to remember where he's been because they make it such a big deal. He's back, and if you would have missed a single post credit sequence, you'd been like, he left.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I knew he was. Yeah, that's right. I knew
But
he was in space, but I didn't know
We're
he was.
geeks for it. But if someone's just watching this and they missed that one mid credit sequence that shows you him in space, they'd be confused right now.
Or they probably don't care one way or the other.
Yeah, but then you're lost.
Then you're lost. Where's he
Lost
been this
in
whole time?
space.
Oh,
Yes.
I see what you did there, Jack.
And that's the thing. It requires you to do a lot of homework, and it doesn't deliver. That's the problem.
Well, let's deliver this plot a little quicker. So then what happens is, as Lawrence has been saying, Lawrence, thank you very much, Nick Fury returns, and the way he returns is very cool, actually. I was like, there was this single beam of light that came down, and then you saw what looked like an alien figure, and then that alien figure looked like Samuel L. Jackson, and then you're like, oh, Nick Fury's back, and then the light went away, and
But
the
then there were
background...
chairs inside the light. Like it was
Yeah, there was chairs inside the light, and then the light was darkness, and he's just in the middle of the forest, and he turns with that, and I'm like, all right, Sam's back. And that's probably the most exciting part of the entire series.
Was that?
Wasn't it?
Was that exciting?
Well, let's look at what happened after.
No, hold on. He
what
got
happened
back on
after
Earth.
it-
He was like, man, why did I come back here?
So what happens
Look
after
at
it
the car
is
coming at him.
Fury gets picked up. He heads to Russia. He has a oddly intimate moment with the alien where they like...
Was
no.
that a scroll thing?
No,
I don't know.
it might be, but the point is, he met him in Captain Marvel, which is the 80s, and their whole relationship, their brotherhood happened off screen. We never got to see it. So most of this episode is playing off of relationships and connections that we have no clue about.
No clue about. Also, the only sense I have of that particular scroll is I know he had been pretending to be Nick Fury for a certain amount of the films and content.
Well, they also had great moments in Captain Marvel.
Yes, they did.
But they weren't brothers yet. And I'm like, when did this happen?
I mean, they were like one frame away from swap and spit, which would have been okay. It's it's not the content I was expecting, but they love each other. There's a deep, profound love for each other they have for each other, and
Pause.
it's so smashed into that frame that it's like I didn't know whether I thought the content was really trying to fast track stuff that we hadn't seen because it happened.
Yes.
Oh, this whole
Yes,
content was doing
absolutely.
that the whole way through. Because I'm
That's
saying,
the
like, why do I
problem.
care about Talos? Why do I care about this whole relationship? Why do I care?
Because we
Other
never
than the
got
fact
to see.
he's a dope actor. I mean, you instantly like the guy.
Well, you needed great actors to make this work.
You got some great actors.
Because it's like the most interesting story is how did these two become so close?
Right.
That's the story.
Okay, so then here's the plot, though. Right here, we find out that a secret invasion has been discovered. Oh, the scroll, a separate... So here's what we find out. We find out that after the events of Captain Marvel, Nick Fury dedicated some of his life towards helping the Skrulls find a new planet they can inhabit, something other than Earth. And so Fury's been on this quest. When the blip happened, Nick Fury blipped away, half of existence blipped away, and that mission kind of stopped being a thing. When Fury came back, he'd emotionally changed, and he'd kind of been detached from helping the Skrulls, which made certain members of the Skrulls lose faith that Fury was gonna, after 30 years, deliver on his promise. And so a certain amount of the faction of the Skrulls, mostly led by the younger ones, decided, you know what, F it, let's take over Earth. It's right there. We're basically here. This is going to be our new home. So they have, throughout time, been operating as other international
terrorist groups.
groups
so they're
to kind of
making
undo the stability of the Earth.
Yeah, they're trying
kind
to
of Falcon and Winter Soldier's plot a little bit.
Okay, and yeah, actually,
maybe,
and then
maybe those are Skrulls.
Well, we might find that out later. And so now what's going on is they've stolen some dirty bombs, and the whole let's get the ball rolling for this global takeover is set in motion. So Fury teams up with his Skrull partner, Talos. We get Hill back, who's like, Fury, you've changed. I don't think you have enough stake in the game. I don't think you got what it takes to maintain at this point.
Based on what? He's been there for 5 minutes. But go
Right,
ahead.
I didn't understand that either. Again, you're kind of spoon feeding us some conflict,
and they have to spoon feed it because we haven't had enough time with Fury to know the difference.
right?
Like if we had Fury really in movies, and then Sam Jackson can play the opposite of what he's playing, we would know it. But since we don't have any frame of reference for Prime Nick Fury, Secret Agent Nick Fury, they have to tell it. We never seen Nick Fury be an agent for real.
Right.
We saw him be a manager.
Right, and well, that's what's interesting about this too is we're seeing Fury, and there's no team.
No,
it all feels kind of like it's randomly pieced together by happenstance. And if Hill was the catalyst for the team, where's her?
Well,
support?
Shield was destroyed after Winter Soldier, right? We found out that they were really Hydra. So Shield's been in disarray,
and now it's Saber.
So I think which is Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Is that her?
Right.
Which is more like Suicide Squad, Amanda Waller. So that's not Shield.
Oh, I missed the part. Well, keep going.
But the real question is, call in the Avengers.
Right. Well, who are the Avengers?
You at least have freaking Captain Falcon. You got him. Yeah. You got Bucky. You got him. So you at least have them. Tell freaking Rhodey to suit up. Stop walking around like you ain't part. Like you at least got four guys who can show up.
Speaking of Rhodey's
Captain Marvel.
Right. Speaking of Rhodey, he's walking around the White House taking orders from the president, and Rhodey is literally the one who says, "I don't think we trust Nick Fury." So is Rhodey a Skrull?
Probably.
Right. Okay. So
and is he walking around with his prosthetic legs or like his helper? Like what's going on?
He must be.
Well, not prosthetic. He just has that brace or something, right?
He was walking pretty smooth. Normally, you see the brace. He was walking. Well, I'm not saying he didn't have the brace, but I didn't really notice.
It's anything like Stark technology. He just gets smaller and smaller with each installment.
Right. That's right. And so now what happens is Fury's in Russia. And
let's backtrack. Bro. Let's talk about that. Yeah, that's a good question. Is Rhodey really a Skrull? And it almost like he has to be because he's the only character here that matters to the MCU, and he still doesn't really matter. But he's the only one here that's like, he's a Skrull since when? And then he's the only character we can think about him in other movies. Was that really him or not?
Right.
Everyone else doesn't matter. So he almost has to be. Backtrack, do other things.
But
that's the
also
problem with
if
this.
He's like a bad Skrull, right?
Real good. I don't even know at this point.
He has to be a bad Skrull to be
because he's talking about Fury. Yeah.
Right. It's got to be. Now, he could also just be impersonating Rhodey, and Rhodey could be locked up, in which case we still get a good Rhodey later.
We got to get to the camp, to the Skrull.
Oh, that's right. Rhodey could be camped up.
Isn't the whole thing about the comic is which heroes are real or not?
Right.
Not just like random soldiers or random guys in the street.
Well, that means we're going to need some. That means we're going to need some superhero cameos later.
You're not going to get it. I guarantee you're not getting it.
If
this plays like the other series, they're not gonna.
Well, you also got to keep in mind the Skrulls don't don't get the powers of the superheroes. So they got to be smart with which ones they take.
But
Right.
then they're inconsistently strong because there was that fight.
Oh boy. And then the guy just rips the chain in half. All right,
Yeah.
so let's backtrack.
Yeah.
So Nick Fury decides, I'm going to go on a walk. And the guy says, you walking around Russia at night, you're going to stick out. And Fury's like, peace. Then there's some really weird people he kind of passes, mainly a girl with a bouncy ball that make no sense. And then he gets abducted. Now, we'll come back to the girl with the bouncy ball because it makes even less sense when she comes back in the series.
Right.
As a matter of fact, it makes zero sense that she comes back in the series and that the person who comes back as the girl with the bouncy ball would be that person. Anyways, Nick Fury gets abducted, taken to some rich lady's
She is
estate.
MI6 Sonia Falsworth.
That's right. She's basically the Amanda Waller of the MI6. And she says, Fury, you've been out of the game. I don't need your help. But all Fury really wanted to do was plant some camera because he's a creep so he could watch her in her office. Right?
Right.
And then
Or
Fury
do
goes,
spy espionage stuff.
oh,
He's
that's
a
right.
spy.
Spy. No, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
No.
It's a spy thing, right? He's spying on her while she's alone in her office. Wait, didn't I just say that? Anyways, so Fury decides, I'm going to go back on my walk. I'll let myself out. Now, his camera proves fruitful-esque, and he finds out that there's some missing dirty bombs, and that's what they got to go find.
Right.
Meanwhile, Tallow goes, hey, my daughter's embedded with these people. After
Gaia.
yada yada, a lot of the younger Skrulls are embedded with the bad faction. It's not me, though. It's not me. Then what happens?
Well, then we see the faction. We see Amelia Clark, Khaleesi. She shows up, and we see her bring in this dude, and basically they're like,
Hold
it's
on,
compelling.
hold on. I want to talk about that. When I first saw this guy, I'm like, you have all this information from Earth.
You gonna be a black guy?
Right? I was like, wait. And if anyone you can be, you're just gonna come out
choose a
and
black
purposely
dude.
be a black guy? Okay.
That's where this show jumped the shark.
That's a bold move.
Liar.
Let's see how this plays out.
They still pulled me over, and I shapeshifted. How do they know?
And he's in Russia. Why?
Yeah.
Why is no one in Russia speaking Russian?
Reasons, Jack.
Same reason why Samuel L. Jackson will stick out walking at night in Russia. I feel like he'll stick out walking in Russia, period. But, that's just my opinion.
I think you kind of decide what kind of show it is. You watch those shows, are real sophisticated, where we'll get the subtitles when they're speaking Russian. They'll go back and forth because they pay that much attention.
Yeah.
You just got other shows where it's like, it's all English.
It's all English.
Like
throwing a Russian accent.
Mars, like they go to different planets. Everyone still speaks English. It's one of those.
But they speak Russian every time they drink.
Bad Russian.
Russian every time they drink.
Oh man. But we get to see the faction and get to see they're actually just trying to create a home.
Yeah, I would live my life in my own skin. That's what he said. He goes to Amelia Clark. Why do you want to be here? The black Skrull is like, I want to live my life in my own skin. She's like, shapeshift. She shapeshifts real quick. We see he's a Skrull. They let him in, and then he starts walking through the. So we find out that Skrulls are immune to radiation, so that they're hiding in all these like decommissioned secret
Russian bunkers.
Yeah, he's Russian. Yeah.
But it's true. Like they can't just be themselves out and about, and if they have no planet to go home to, it's almost like what choice do they have? That's where it gets compelling, at least for their side. It's like, I mean,
but it's not like they're trying to live among us.
They don't want to. They don't want to hide who they are anymore.
Right. Exactly. But you would think that this Earth is a little more used to seeing things they're not used to seing at this point.
All in white American forms, though.
Can I throw a huge flag on the play? This whole thing. I'm gonna jump ahead to when they show how they're taking the people from putting the people in the the mind things, and they're absorbing all their thoughts so they can take over that spot. So in the beginning, when we see the Ross Skrull die, he dies, changes the Skrull, but he's still in the suit. But he's still a Skrull in the suit. But then when the guy goes to take over, when they're in the camp, he's in regular clothes, and then he takes over the thing. He changes clothes and form.
But so did the guy when he was pretending to be a their clothes change shape with them.
Or
That
sometimes they
happens.
just wear clothes.
Or sometimes they just wear clothes. That's inconsistent. But the oh man, what was the other thing you're saying? Yeah, there's mad inconsistencies.
But I don't
That's
know if
true.
that's inconsistent. I think the scrolls that have been incognito for a longer period of time probably just wear regular clothes. It's like
But then,
less they have to shapeshift. But the ones that are like brand new take a spot right now,
but it's
they'll
not just
shift the whole
clothing.
thing.
We see props. Like jumping ahead again, there's this small child with a big bouncy ball that then
Right.
turns into a large man in a brown jacket that then turns into a skinny lady with a playbill that then turns into a average sized guy.
Well, that's Garrick. He's the
Right.
best. He's a leader.
And he's not walking around in each of those forms. Like that guy was like an art dealer 8 hours a day. So he's like, I might as well just wear a suit instead of make one because I'm going to be in this form 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Versus Garrick, who's like, I'm just shifting every 30 seconds.
Oh, but I had a question about that. But the logic of this made very little sense. We're starting to learn that there may be tens of thousands of scrolls on Earth. And in the first episode, we see a handful of scrolls die. And the second they die in human form, they shapeshift back to dead scroll form.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying scrolls, tens of thousands of scrolls, been living among us since the 80s and 90s.
Remember what Talos said? He's 150 something years old, but that's like
But
40
that don't mean
years.
they don't die.
They probably don't die of natural causes.
I'm
like
sure
that.
they die in car accidents and stuff like that.
Hello, thank you. That's what I'm getting at. You're telling
They
me
will. Maybe not. I'm not saying the probability is probably low, but it probably don't, or they probably have people there to recover the body. They probably find a way to keep their tracks, and they live for a very long time, and they're super strong. It's like my 150 years is like 40 of your years, so
Yeah.
they're not just passing away since the
yeah,
1980s.
says a guy who looks like he's almost 60.
Hey man, that's the
Some-
form he took. That's the form he took. So they've been here since the 80s. Not like they saying they've been. It's not like Transformers with like we've been here since the beginning. They've been here since like 1988.
they keep going back.
I don't know. I can
Right.
suspend my disbelief around.
Okay,
that.
so then what happens is after what's Amelia's character's name? Gaia. Oh, great name. So after Talos' daughter Gaia lets the dude in the camp, inducts the guy, and then we see the pods where they're putting normal people like Lawrence in a pod, and they're stealing his face, and then they're sucking his brain out so they can act more like him, and then Lawrence stays on the pod while the scroll goes pretends to be Lawrence, and
I
so
would
they
love that. Just live, just like
like go do it for me,
like Multiplicity with Michael Keaton. Just clone me so you can do the chores.
Right. See how you like it after a week. So then what happens is Amelia goes to retrieve the dirty bomb from the art dealer, but Fury and Hill and Tallow are aware of that, so they're going to the art dealer.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She gets Guy gets there first. She gets the bombs and bounces as Tallow and Fury are literally walking in the door. Tallow has something to prove. He wants to fight the guy by himself. Fury gets involved, ends up shooting him. Tallow is really affected by this. He's like, you can tell he's genuinely upset.
See,
He
and
says,
I didn't take it as he has something to prove, more or less. He's not going to kill him. Like Nick Fury, if he went into the fight, I'm going to take him down. Talos, I think, is still like, these are still my people.
That's interesting.
It's like he says to Nick Fury, I said no to him. And it was in a very heartbroken way.
Yeah. Okay.
Which leads me to believe in 10 episodes, I don't know where Talos stands.
Right. That's interesting. I didn't read it like that, but that makes way more sense. So thank you for that redirect.
I think they did that on purpose. I think they wanted us to think that I got it and then the end it's like, oh, it's because I think they set it up.
You didn't want him to die. Yeah, that makes way more sense. So long story short, the art dealer is killed and he turns back into a scroll, and then they just leave the body, which is interesting because no one's really working with Fury or Hill.
No, nobody's working with them. They're AWOL.
Can we talk about the inconsistency of powers again? Like I was trying to figure this out. So you can get thrown through a stone cylinder and get up. No, your back isn't broken. but
Yep.
2 bullets penetrate just like it would penetrate regular flesh.
That's
Yep.
how it goes.
Listen,
Like-
bullets are very
Bang, bang.
fast.
And what kind
Right,
of gun
but I
was
feel
he
like
shooting?
if you're getting thrown through a cylinder, you
was
should
a-
still probably have a bruise or a limp
What?
if a bullet can still like pierce your lung. I feel like
45 or
Yeah, Talos had the Beretta. I saw that. It was with 45, big caliber gun. I forgot what Fury had.
He had a Glock. Don't know what type of Glock though.
Probably a Glock 19. That's what they always use.
More than likely.
right. I feel
All
like
right.
if this was on another network, they would have had Fury shoot him more times to show the difference. But since it's Disney, you look,
well,
you
we
got a
get
gun.
blood and bullets. I mean, if we're gonna
We
get
do.
to that.
He just, I guess I thought it would take a little bit more to take him down than just a regular person.
Right. I guess he shot well. Fury has 30 years experience dealing with scrolls, and he knows how to take them down. And he does. And then what happens is Hill is, for some reason, chilling in the car, sees some girl with a backpack and goes, "That's the girl I want." She's very good at her job. Like, very good at her job. Because there's like dozens of people on the street at that point, and most of them are carrying something.
No,
but-
because she reunited with her father, and I did, in my opinion, the double cross. And not in my opinion, it was actually a double cross. She made it seem like she wanted to come back, but in actuality, she was setting things up for
But
it
this
to go
is
bad.
Yeah.
before that happens. Before that happens, Agent Hill sees her on the street after leaving the art gallery guy, and somehow she spots her.
I took it as, what's her name? Gaia?
Yeah.
This is her regular human form that she
I guess
keeps.
so.
And Hill knows Talos, and she would have known his children, his wife.
I guess so.
Right. Because the people who take the scrolls who take over the people in the pod, they stay in those forms
Right.
until they have what they want on Earth.
But she had a human form
She had a human form.
with her father and her
Right.
mother before she. So if this is that form, then Maria would recognize her.
I guess.
that's
So
right.
anyway,
I mean, this is how much I don't care about them. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
I didn't
Right.
think about this till right now, though. I thought about it.
So then what happens, and this is going to highlight your inconsistency of power. Hill follows after her, catches up to her, and Gaia, like, just owns her, punches her in the face. I'm surprised she had a face left because I just saw the other scroll punch through a cinder block wall
Right.
and literally crush metal chains with his hand. But Gaia's, I guess, pulling her punches for some weird reason, even though she wants to, like, literally blow the world up, and we know that's true by the end of the episode. But she don't want to hurt this lady too bad. She just breaks her nose, right? Okay, so anyways, then Hill is discapacitated, but her dad somehow was right there in the
And
alley.
he lets her go.
Yep.
But
He
how
just
did he
lets
get
her-
there? One, how did he know? How did he know where to go? And two, how did he get there so fast? And three, where was Nick then? Because weren't they together?
Well,
Anyways,
Nick's not moving that fast.
clearly, I mean,
Oh.
this guy must have been moving at flash speed. So he catches up to his daughter literally right after she has the moment with Hill and says, "Hey, stop, I'll shoot you." And then the daughter turns around. He doesn't recognize his daughter, by the way, until she turns around.
Mhm.
Gaia, right?
You got a haircut. You
and
changed your
then
hair.
and then she pushes him pretty hard, knocks the wind out of him a little bit, and then he kind of doesn't
That's
even follow up.
pause. We learned a lot
What?
of information. We learned that Garrett killed her mother. So she's
Right.
working with the guy that killed her mother.
Yeah.
Right?
And Talos is trying to connect with his daughter, saying, "How can you do this?" And they're going back and forth enough to
Wait.
make us believe
Who's Garrick?
the
Garrett's
black
He's the
leader.
bad guy.
He's the bad
he's
guy.
a leader.
Oh.
He's a leader bad guy. He killed her mother.
Gravik?
Gravik.
Gravik, yeah.
Gravik.
That's how you
Yeah.
remember these
Gravik.
names, man. You sound like you knew it.
I'm looking at the
Gavik.
cast. I'm saying like Garrick. I'm like, who's Garrick? I'm like,
Yeah, Gravik.
Gravik. He killed her mom, which is interesting. That she's working with a guy that killed her mother and would rather work with him than be with her father.
Right. And we
I
think
wanna
that
unpack
this is news to her, right? The way we're experiencing it through
Yeah.
her. She's learning this right now. So she gets back to the camp with the
Wait,
bombs.
was it news or I couldn't tell if her expression was this
Well,
is
it
news
was
or
well,
Yeah.
right
that's
now
a low
we're
blow.
right now we're thinking it might be news because when she gets back to the camp with the bombs, she almost tries to postpone the event. She's like,
Right.
maybe we shouldn't do it.
We should wait. Right.
He didn't say it like it was news. He said it like, "How could you?"
But
He didn't
the
deliver
way
it like
she
it was.
reacted, I think I read it as that it was news to her.
I
Like
read it.
she didn't know that the people she was working with were responsible for her mother's death, and she didn't even know her mother was dead at the time.
I didn't read it that
Right,
way.
yeah.
But
Go
go
back
ahead.
and watch that scene.
I watched it twice. Yeah, I didn't read it
So
that way.
she responds like, "What do you mean my mom's dead? My mom's dead?" She's shocked that her mom's dead, and then she's equally shocked to find out that the people she's working
I read
with
it
killed
like
them.
you see the pain of her mom dying, and you see the pain of the choice she made. Because he didn't tell it to her like, "You need to know this. He kills your mother." He told her like, "You're working with the guy who kills your mother." He said it like, "We know this, and
It
how
was
could you?"
both. The first line was the one information, and then following it was the subsequent information.
Mm, I don't
I could
know.
be wrong. In any case, we as the audience get that information. We as the
Right.
audience get that the mom's
Right.
dead, and we as the audience get that she's working with the people who killed the mom. At least that's what the dad's saying. So she gets back to the camp, drops off the bombs, and basically says, "Hey, maybe we should postpone the attack." And the
Right.
guy goes, "We ain't postponing the attack. We doing that right now.
Not now, but right now.
Not
Mhm.
now, but right now, right?" And then the next scene we get is some lady on the street randomly getting picked up by some other lady driving a cab. Then the lady driving the cab looks like Tallow. Then the lady that was picked up looks like his daughter. So how that worked out, who knows? But now they're having a private meeting where she says, "Dad, there are 3 dirty bombs. They're going to be in backpacks, and I'm going to mark them with an infrared paint so you can see them and stop the attacks."
Right.
Dad says, "Hot dog, my daughter's back." He goes back to Nick and Hill and says, "Hey, Gala's back with the team." Nick and Hill go, "All right." And this proves that we are dealing with a different Nick Fury, because the Nick Fury of old would have just assumed everything is a double cross and no one can be trusted.
Now, when you say Nick Fury of old, do you mean like
The
what?
younger, not
Nick
older
Fury
Nick
of
Fury.
But I
the
mean,
phase one.
Right.
but what did he do in phase 1 to let us know he was a savvy secret
He
agent?
had his team do it for him.
I've-
Also,
wait,
Nick Fury in Winter Soldier is not intelligent.
is he in Winter Soldier?
Wasn't he in Winter Soldier?
No, I don't
You
think
don't even
he
know.
so.
wasn't.
Man, come on, man.
No, he
He's
wasn't.
so good in it, you don't even know he's in
We're
it.
adding in a lot of headcanon for a character that we haven't seen do any of the James Bond stuff we think he did.
Right, but
Right.
we just
Right.
assumed that he
We
could
assume
do
he was that good. Like I don't know
He's
if he
definitely
was.
not doing it in this content. So then what happens is they're at the square where the dirty bombs are going to go off, and Hill spots him and Fury spots him, and then the Tallow goes, "Oh, by the way, she marked him in infrared." And they all just happen to be wearing glasses that they can click and it goes infrared.
Didn't
Yeah.
he tell him that? He told him that when they were.
But why no, but we get it, the audience gets it here. So this is the scene where he's telling them for the first time and they're responding like they know. Otherwise, you wouldn't have that line here. They would know they're looking for infrared. This is for the audience's sake. This
Thought
is
it
a
happened a
Maiden
little
Butler
earlier.
dialogue moment for the audience's sake.
I thought
It's
it
called
happened,
Maiden.
Nick Fury wasn't. Nick Fury wasn't with the soldier.
but he wasn't in it. Like he wasn't
Fury's in
fighting
all of
Robert
them.
Redford's Hydra. Like he wasn't actually part of it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he wasn't helping Captain America and Black Widow, and the 3 of them were taking guys down, and we saw him like.
Oh
Mrs.
no, I think
Howard.
it might have been.
We didn't see his.
He was taking. He did it. No, I'm thinking of another movie. I'm putting 2 movies together. Never mind. But he wasn't Winter Soldier.
So
my point is, we didn't see his prowess, his secret agent
We
prowess.
never seen it. We just seen him shoot.
Right.
shoot
You
the
never
stuff in
assume
his
he
phone.
had it.
you don't
That's
really
the
see
problem.
that here, except for maybe I guess he does get himself captured on purpose and he puts his spy cam in there. That's about as 007 as we get. Anyways, in this case, we get the Maiden Butler moment where we get spoon fed for the audience's sake. Again, him telling the team at a weird point in the mission there's infrared.
I don't think that's correct. I think he told them that before, like
Well,
when he
must
says
have.
Guy is back, and then didn't we
Yes,
get
it's
like
implied. It's implied, but then why would you say it here? Everyone would have already known it. They
Did
would
he
have known
say
to
it
look
here?
for it. Yes, he says it there. That's why he clicks the button on his glasses and switches.
Yeah,
to
aren't they
infrared.
talking on like over the
Yeah.
like, over-
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
okay.
So, also for those of you wondering why I keep saying maiden butler is a term from the old 1930s and 40s plays when you'd literally have the maid or butler character walk on stage and give exposition so the audience was caught up with the flow. So
Like
that happens.
this was a Maiden Butler moment right now.
Exactly.
Stop.
Yes, this is a maiden butler moment because some of us in the scene should have already known what that was, but for you audience members that maybe didn't, now you do. And that happens all the time in film and television, and it usually doesn't work very well. It's usually the moments where you feel like, why are they saying that? Like, who are they saying that for?
Unless
Like,
they do it
wouldn't
over
they
a
have
bowl of
already?
spaghetti. Unless they do it over a bowl of spaghetti
Yeah,
and Michael
unless they do it over a bowl of
Yeah,
spaghetti.
over
Michael
a
Keaton's pretty
bowl of
great.
spaghetti.
All right. So, anyways, then they go after the bags that were marked with the infrared X, only to find out, dun dun dun, they've been double crossed and the bags are empty. What? And then Nick Fury's chasing after some little girl with a ball, and then that little girl with a ball turns into some big guy with a jacket, and the jacket turns into a lady with the program, and the lady with the program turns into, oh look, it's the big bad baddie bad.
Right.
And
Big
then
bad.
he has
The
a
detonator.
switch in his hand, a detonator that he pops up and blasts it. Now, Fury also has a gun in his hand at this point, and we know that bullets take scrolls out real easy. So why Fury is just not getting any rounds off, I have no idea, but he doesn't. And the bomb.
People. Oh no, they weren't. Never mind. That was after.
Yeah, he could. Yeah.
He
But I guess the
definitely
explosion threw him off.
Right. It was the detonator. It was the girl
Right.
with the ball. Whatever. He was rattled. The bomb goes off. One bomb goes off. Another bomb goes off. And then there's chaos. And then Nick Fury's got his gun out. And he calls for Hill. And Hill turns around and he puts one in her. And it turns out that wasn't actually Fury. That was the Skrull Fury.
Right.
And then actual Fury, runs up to Hill. And she's like, why'd you kill me? It was
What
you.
did she say? Say it
It
again.
was you. It was you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which also doesn't make sense, for her character would have known that she'd been tricked. Anyways, Fury's like, it wasn't me, and then Tallow runs up to Fury and drags him off as Hill dies there bleeding out.
And we get like the shot where they're the panning
Bird's
shot from
eye.
the sky away, and then
Right.
Yeah.
End of episode 1.
I didn't say so after the credits. I don't think there is anything.
There's nothing.
no, I
Okay.
need to stay there just to see anyway.
And they kill off a character that has even less backstory and less
Yeah.
than
But
Nick
she's
Fury.
been around for a while though.
A lot of so has Harry from HR. But
What,
guess
really?
what? He's not
Yeah, but
important to the
this
plot.
is
Who cares?
Yeah, but consider this. When we lost Coulson, that was a
Coulson
humongous
mattered.
moment.
Right.
But so does Hill. Hill,
No,
we've
she
seen
doesn't.
in every single film.
you've seen her around. Coulson
You've seen her
mattered
just
because
doing things.
yeah, she doesn't matter. No one in this show matters. Coulson mattered because he had a connection to Captain America and he fanboyed, and because of that connection, we cared when he died, and they still brought him back. Hill's not coming
They
back because
still
she doesn't
brought him
matter.
back.
Right.
We
Hill,
don't know. We don't even know that she's
she
dead.
doesn't matter enough to come back.
She'll come back as a scroll.
And
Hey.
they used her death to like give our lead character motivation, which happens. So like that's prehistoric filmmaking. You kill the lead character, a woman in the lead character's life, and then he has to go on this journey for revenge.
That's it.
It is like it is. There's a term for it. I forgot, but
Formulaic.
well, it's. You don't have any characters you care about here.
Wait, but
and they killed her off. We care about it.
I pseudo care about her character because I've seen her so often.
But
But
what did you see her do?
You don't
But
care
I
about
didn't care
her.
about her. I
It's
didn't.
like, oh no, it's what's her face.
Yeah. Oh, what's her face?
Remember
Oh.
when she did that thing when she sat at the computer and told someone to do something?
She brings the everything bagels. That's what she does.
All right. My problem is this. Here's what I'm getting. My problem is this. Her death was kind of right now wasted the way it happened.
I think it was supposed to be a big aha moment, and no one's feeling the oh my
it's
goodness, clutch my
Maria Hill.
pearls.
Because it's Maria Hill.
Yeah,
At least if it was the dude in the beginning, what's his face?
Talos.
No. The guy from Black Panther.
Oh, Ross.
We have enough time with him for his death to matter because we saw what he did with Black Panther. But her, I mean, I can't even tell you the movies she's been in. I know she's been around.
She's been
I know
in the
she's
Avengers movies. She's been in all the Avengers
like
movies.
on the side, and I know she probably got some
Well,
shots off, but she doesn't matter.
she's like the second and third biggest character for Nick Fury's arc, though.
The second or third biggest character for a character who doesn't even have an
Look,
arc.
we don't know anything
We
about.
don't know
Okay,
anything about.
But that's fair. But that's who she is. It's Fury, uh, Carter, and Hill. Right? Fury, Carter, Hill. Those are the only characters I could tell you by name that work with Fury.
Who's Carter?
Agent Carter, Peggy Carter.
Agent Carter, the one who died.
Oh,
That's not even the Nick Fury thing. She had a whole.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Carter. I'm sorry, not Coulson. Coulson. Wow,
Coulson.
bang. Coulson. Fury, Coulson, Hill. Those are the people we know, right?
That's it.
Fury,
We saw,
Coulson, Hill.
we
and
saw
we've seen-
Coulson before we saw Nick Fury. Coulson was at least in Iron Man 1 before
Yeah.
Nick Fury popped up.
That's
Yeah.
true.
We have more time with Coulson.
That's
we
true.
did.
That's why his death mattered.
That's why his death mattered.
But by this point, we should have enough interaction with Hill that we care about her death.
We should,
Okay,
No, we
let's
don't.
leave it at that.
but we
We
don't.
definitely
We-
don't.
We
okay.
don't.
So what else are we missing about the content? That's basically it. It was only
That's
an
it.
hour. Wasn't
That's
much
it.
going on.
We're missing.
Are you coming back?
Yeah, I'll come back. I'll give it
Probably.
a chance to see if it gets better.
Depends what else comes out soon.
Yeah.
This
Are
show. This
you
show's.
so oversaturated that you ain't gonna support?
It doesn't. The show doesn't matter, and as a standalone, it does. It's too weak.
But none of the Marvel content matters
But-
based off the next Marvel
But
content at
no,
this point.
but this one needs to because Nick Fury's tied to too much. It's different when I'm watching Miss Marvel, where it's this is just a standalone coming of age girl getting superpowers. It doesn't have to connect. If it does, cool. Secret Invasion has to connect.
Yeah,
Like if it doesn't connect, it's not a good
It could be a whole
standalone.
phase by itself, realistically.
It's too
But
world.
what's going on with the multiverse phase right now? Isn't that where we were at?
Nah, that's
No, we don't. That's nothing.
TVA, Ant-Man, isn't that what literally just happened in the content? How's that not playing out?
Moon Knight is a good enough standalone thing where you can watch it. If it doesn't connect, it doesn't matter. Secret Invasion is too world changing for it not to connect.
It
Has
should be
to.
connected.
And it's not strong enough as standalone material either because we don't care about Nick Fury. We just care about Sam Jackson. So
Right,
what
so
are we
he's gotta
watching?
put the team together. He's got to put a team together, right? He's the team guy.
I guess
That's all he does. See, he puts together good teams.
Okay,
He's HR. He's HR for the Avengers.
Yeah, he doesn't even
Wow.
get.
that's
in the
why it
fight.
didn't work out.
I mean, so and to know that he has Captain Marvel's beeper number, like call her in. You get this taken care of in a day.
Well, that's the other thing I don't understand. If this event was so dire that he's literally left his space station to come get involved, and there's even the smallest chance that it may be beyond his skill set, why is he not looking for support? I mean, how many people did we watch actually die at the end of this series because he didn't do what he does best?
3 people just trying to, and it'd be different if this was like a
but
Hydra thing.
We see the public getting blown
Yeah,
up.
Right.
Well,
So because you're watching 3 people go after like 10,000 aliens and not knowing 10,000 shape-shifting aliens and got 3 guys with a freaking Glock trying to
Right.
figure it out.
Yeah.
And it'd be different if this was a Hydra thing, but we're talking about alien invasion, and you're not calling in the people with
Well,
power.
okay, let's be fair. Who could he actually call at this point? Nobody knows who Spider-Man is.
No, but he does know. No,
Vision
no one
is
knows.
gone.
No, wait, hold on.
Scarlet's gone.
Go back to this, Jack, because you're wrong. They don't know Peter Parker's Spider-Man, but they still know who Spider-Man is.
Okay.
So he can call in Spider-Man.
call
Okay.
Ant-Man.
He can call in Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, where's Ant-Man right now?
He can call in Captain Marvel. He can call in Captain America, the new Captain America. He can call in Bucky.
What's her name? The black girl.
Oh,
Hey.
the new Black Panther.
I don't know.
No,
if
not
you can call him.
Riri, Ironheart.
Not Ironheart. No. You can call in the one that he's working with on the space station. In the beginning of the Marvels.
Oh, Maria. No, Rambo.
Monica Rambeau.
Right,
although we don't know she has powers yet, right?
Nah, I thought she had
Right.
powers at the end of what's
But was it like
She
was
did have
it
powers at the
made
end of,
but was it made public to like everyone or Shield?
WandaVision.
How
No,
would
it's
he
not
not?
made public.
It was made public to the organization, to Saber.
You can call in Monica Rambeau. You can call in Saber.
So he could call to those people.
So why
Hey,
did he go AWOL?
Hawkeye,
How's
dust
he
off
AWOL
that
at the top
bow
of
and
it?
arrow. Say it again.
Yeah. But they had to make him like it's like Ghost Protocol. Somehow they had to make him rogue in order for AWOL and rogue for the thing that.
Well,
It's a
actually,
good spy.
it would have been dope if we found out Rhodey was a Skrull and he forces them to have to go rogue. Then he can't call people for help.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we're
would make
looking at
sense.
should actually be like most of the content of episode 3.
Most of the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah.
Right. But we
Have
need to
them-
get there first.
Let's see if we get there. Let's see.
But we're past that point.
Yeah, you're right.
He should have called in for help as soon as he learned alien invasion, dirty bombs, Russia.
That's my point. And so what we're looking at is we're looking at a character in a situation where, because of the way the content's being depicted, we're not seeing them behave authentically to the way we expect and need them to behave.
Sort of, because I
So
honestly don't know
we
Nick
keep getting
Fury.
spoon-fed, but that's why they keep spoon-feeding us. Nick Fury's different. Nick Fury's different. He ain't been the same since the
blip 5 years ago.
right.
Because they still need the blip to matter, and the blip doesn't matter. It doesn't really feel like it affected anybody. That's also, let's keep it real. Skrulls had to have been blipped too. He blipped everything.
Right.
They say
50% of all life. Right.
all life.
All
Right.
life.
Which also means plants
Sure.
and animals.
Sure.
Nah,
And, like-
animals. I don't know about plants.
What? Plants aren't
plant-
alive, Rich? You try to
Shut
get
up.
us
First of all,
canceled?
stop it. Stop.
Plant lives matter.
I
Plants.
don't even know how to respond
Plants
to any of
is
this.
what you need to make the environment what it is, like for
And
oxygen and everything like that.
They're
So
not
you
part of the
wouldn't let that
population issue.
Right. That was the issue, population. So no, plants wouldn't be blipped. Maybe
What about
maybe
planets are
animals?
alive? Planets? Half of planets blipped out too? And
This
you just
was-
have people,
This
like,
content
floating in
was so
space?
good. We're arguing facts from other movies.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
really?
right. All right, so let's wrap this up. Are we coming back or not? That's the question.
Yes.
It depends what's on.
Yeah.
Wow,
It really
Lawrence is
depends what's
like,
on.
Depends
This is
Fizzy.
not good. I'll come back and ask you guys how's it going. This is Boba Fett to me right now.
Hey,
Don't you
I
dare. You
I,
shut
fe-
your
I
mouth,
feel
you
what you
fucking-
felt for Boba Fett right now.
It's like it could be, it should be, but
I'll
it
say
isn't.
this.
And I'll wait for you guys to tell me.
I am 100% coming back unless I only have an hour and then I'm doing this instead.
So Jack's not coming back.
That's what I'm saying. Like if I got an hour and I'm just not doing it, I'm going to watch either some anime which I need to catch up on, or I'm going to grind on one of my games. Like, why am I watching this?
That was going somewhere else.
I mean, I'm not. Chris, you came on this hating it more than me.
But I'm still gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna see. I'm waiting for it to get good.
Yeah, but
when
look at what
is
Chris has
55
going
minutes
for
of my time not giving it a
whatever.
shot?
I'll give
man.
it 2 more episodes. Let's see.
Yes,
Come
I'll
on,
definitely
the
give
season's
it
gonna
2
be
more
over.
episodes.
How many
At least
episodes
one
is
more
this?
episode.
Probably
I
six
think
to 8 usually.
So Chris is going to give it 6 to 8 episodes to see how it plays
No, I'm
out.
gonna give it
It's
2
only
more
6
episodes.
episodes, FYI.
Yeah, well,
They're gonna conclude a whole alien invasion in 6 episodes.
right.
Well, yeah, but that's my point, because you know it's not going to have any ramifications for anything that follows it. And that's part of the problem with the Marvel content right now, is we have been conditioned through early Marvel movies to know that everything has to matter. And now in the last 10 years of films, almost, and television series, nothing really matters.
They messed up. They should make the movies matter and the TV series be those other comic book stories that are self-contained. You watch the TV shows for self-contained stories, and the movies matter. And every now and then they may link up.
Yeah.
I read a Spider-Man comic. It doesn't always lead to the Avengers. So let the TV shows be the TV shows, and let the movies be the movies, and let them intertwine where it's organic.
Yeah.
And right
like
here,
the monster series.
Yeah,
That was
Wolf,
pretty good,
but
man.
honest, and Secret Invasion is not an organic
It's-
standalone story.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's
Because
big.
you literally are talking about. I mean, Captain
did that
Marvel
whole
set
phase.
this up. We saw what it
Secret
can happen.
Invasion and Secret War, those were humongous. But to me, it's exactly like what they did with Civil War. They took this awesome name from this awesome IP, and it's just not. It was never going to be what they're using.
But Civil War still made sense. Secret Invasion, not even the name of the comic, just what the content is telling me is 10,000 beings can shapeshift and they're going to blow up the world. The Avengers have to assemble here. It's not like you can't do it without them.
It's a
Yeah.
phase. I'm telling you, it should have been a
This
phase.
is a phase. Even
Yeah,
if they don't
it's a
follow the
phase.
comic books, the threat level on this bad boy is too
and
high.
if it was, wow, can you imagine that? If it was a phase, then you can kind of pull out the stops with, just like you're talking about, is Rhodey one of the
Right.
Skrull?
Dude.
You
That's
know?
how you bring back Robert Downey Jr. Forget using the multiverse is done. Skrulls coming back as ghosts and just messing with your head like just
Yeah.
like
or they're
Skrulls
saying
playing.
it was never him in the first place. He'd been
It
in
was
the
a-
pod for the
Well,
last.
that wasn't that part of the comic. Like we
Yes.
thought, like
Yes.
so and so was
Captain
this
America?
guy. Yeah, come on.
You know who
like,
did this better? Watch Avengers the cartoon. Earth's Mightiest Heroes. They did this better.
You know who did this better?
Who?
Well, let's be fair. You're gonna give it another episode or two, so we'll come back to Chris and see how he's feeling. Rich, you coming back to this?
I'll wait for
He-
y'all to tell me that something happens.
He's got stuff to grind.
Hey,
Let's grind it.
Nope.
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
all right. So I guess that's a mixed bag as far as are we coming back? Are we not coming back? Some of us are coming back.
If I come back, it's because Sam Jackson's dope, and I love watching him
I
work.
mean, how can you not?
That's
support that?
why. If I come back, it's to watch him effortlessly just be the coolest dude in the room. That's
Yes.
not because of the content, because of him.
True.
Sam alone is at least going to get another episode or two from me,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fair.
Okay.
Just saying.
All
And
right.
nothing else is on TV. Like I finished Succession. There's nothing else on.
Nothing's
So
on.
I might give this another shot because of Sam Jackson. Unless you guys tell me next week this is freaking fire, you got to jump back in. What are you
We'll
doing with
see.
your life?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Then I'll come back.
All right, Chris. No pressure. Let us know.
Let you know.
All
All right. Well, that's our take on Secret Invasion. Hope it's been useful to you. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you around same Secret Invasion time. Nah, probably be different Secret Invasion time.
But same Secret Invasion channel.
Peace.
That was
Lawrence
just-
didn't know what to do.
I'm so
That was-
confused.
That was.
I was trying to find my way in there, but there's nowhere to go. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Three Brothers and a Shot of Milk. We're talking